Part 4 of My Toxic Mother-in-Law Destroyed Our Marriage. My husband learned. Too late. If you are new to my channel, please check the comment section of this post for part 1, 2, and 3 of these stories to get a proper understanding of the story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Let's continue. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Madam Ada, if you don't withdraw the case, we will post your pictures online. My heart stopped. I stood outside Alekborn Gate with Ifeoma, and the Lagos sun felt like fire on my skin. Ifeoma saw my face. Ida, what happened? I showed her the message. Her eyes widened. Ah, blackmail. My mouth was dry. What pictures? I don't even have dirty pictures. Ifeoma shook her head. Sometimes it's not even real. They just want to scare you. My hands were still shaking. Another message came fast. A photo. It was a screenshot of my old WhatsApp profile picture. And under it, the person typed, "We know you. We know your workplace." Ifeoma grabbed my wrist. Ada, don't reply. Don't beg them. That's what they want. I tried to breathe. What if they post lies? What if my boss sees it? Ifeoma looked at me hard. Ada, listen. If you withdraw the case, you will be a slave forever. Slave? That word hit me. I remembered the sofa. I remembered my salary. I remembered the loan. I swallowed. Okay, we won't withdraw. We entered a small office inside. A real officer sat down and said, Madam, what is the new issue? I showed him the messages. He read it, then nodded slowly. This is common. They want to scare you into silence. I asked, Can you trace the number? He said, We will try. But do you know anyone that has access to your private things? Your phone? Your pictures? My mind ran fast. Then one memory slapped me. Mama Kunle holding my phone in the kitchen. I was checking if you talk to strange men. My chest tightened. I said softly, Yes, my mother-in-law took my phone before, many times. The officer wrote it down. Madam, he said, you must keep every message. Don't delete. Don't reply. I nodded. Outside, Ifeoma took me back to her place. In the evening, I sat on the bed and stared at my phone. I wanted to cry, but I also felt angry. Why can't they just let me go? My phone rang. Kunle. I didn't want to pick, but I did. He sounded rushed. Ada, please, please, withdraw the case. My voice went flat. So you know about the blackmail. Silence. Then he breathed out. Ada, Mama is sick. People are calling me. And they said police came to ask questions. I laughed once. Kunle, don't lie. Tell me the truth. Who is sending those messages? He said fast. It's not me? I asked. Then swear. Swear on your mother. He went quiet again. My heart sank. Kunle, you know. He whispered, Ada, I just want peace. I sat up straight. Peace for who? He started talking like he was reading a script. Ada, just withdraw the case. After that, we will talk. I promise. I said, No. His voice became sharp. Ada, you don't know what you're doing. I asked him, Conley, did your mother send those messages? He didn't answer, but his breathing changed. That was my answer. I ended the call. 5 minutes later, another unknown message came. Last warning. Then another message came, and this one made my body go cold. They sent my office address. Correct. Even the floor number. Ifeoma saw it and gasped. Ada, how? I whispered. It's them. They know too much. Ifeoma held my shoulders. Ada, you have two choices now. What? I asked. First choice, she said, you hide and let fear win. Second choice, you go ahead of them, Ifeoma said. You tell your boss the truth first, so if anything comes out, it won't break you. I stared at her. Tell my boss? Shame touched my throat again. But I also knew something. Secrets are what Mama Kunle uses to control people. If I keep quiet, I stay weak. If I speak, I take power back. So I ask the question that matters. If you were in my shoes, would you tell your workplace the truth or keep quiet and pray nothing leaks? That night, as I was still thinking, someone knocked on Ifeoma's door. Knock, knock, knock. Ifeoma stood up slowly. Who is that? A woman's voice answered from outside. Soft, familiar. Ada, it's me. My heart jumped. It was Mama Kunle's voice. Right there, outside Ifeoma's door. Ifeoma looked at me. Don't open. Mama Kunle knocked again. Knock, knock. Ada, I'm not here to fight, she said. I came as a mother. I swallowed hard. What does she want? Ifeoma whispered. She wants control. Mama Kunle raised her voice a little. Ada, if you don't open, I will shout your name till the whole compound hears. Ifeoma rolled her eyes. See? My chest tightened. I didn't want attention. Not again. So I stepped forward and opened the door, just a little. Mama Kunle stood there with a small nylon bag. No suitcase, no shouting face. She looked tired. Ida, she said softly, my daughter. I didn't answer. Ifeoma stood behind me like a guard, and Mama Kunle looked past me into the room. So this is where you're hiding. I said, Mama, why are you here? She lifted the nylon bag. I brought food, your favorite, jollof. I almost laughed. Food? After everything? Ifeoma spoke sharp. Mama, keep your food. Say what you came for. Mama Kunli's face changed small. This your friend is too loud. I said, Mama, talk to me, not my friend. She nodded slowly and lowered her voice. Ada, withdraw the case. There it is. I asked. And the blackmail messages, are they also part of family? She blinked fast. What messages? I stared at her. Don't pretend. Mama Kunle sighed and stepped closer. Ada, listen. People are wicked. Lagos is wicked. If your pictures enter internet, your life will spoil. I asked. So you admit it? She didn't say yes. She didn't say no. She just said, withdraw the case and everything will stop. My hands started shaking again. Ifeoma said, Mama, you people took loans with her BVN. You brought fake police. Now you are doing blackmail. You should be ashamed. Mama Kunle turned to Ifeoma. Shut up. Then she looked at me with wet eyes. Ada, you want to kill my son? I replied, I didn't kill him when he killed my peace. Mama Kunle's jaw tightened. Ada, you don't understand. A mother and son bond is forever. I nodded slowly. Yes, that is why I left. I can't win that fight. For a second, Mama Kunle's eyes flashed with anger. Then she did something unexpected. She pulled out my phone, my own old phone, the one I thought I lost. My stomach dropped. Where did you get that? I asked. She smiled small. You left it in the house that day you packed. I kept it. Ifeoma stepped forward. Give it back! Mama Kunle held it tight. Not now! Then she tapped the screen and showed me something. A folder. Inside were my private chats with Ifeoma. My voice went thin. You opened my phone? She said. I opened everything. My chest felt like it was closing. She leaned closer and whispered, Ada, I have screenshots. If you don't withdraw the case, I will send it to your office. I stared at her. Not one sorry, not one shame, just power. I asked her, Mama, is this what you taught Kunle? To destroy a woman and call it family? Mama Kunle's face went hard. I taught him to survive. Ifeoma shouted, survive by stealing? By blackmail? Mama Kunle turned to Ifeoma again. If you like, talk. But when your friend loses her job, don't cry. Then she faced me. Ada, you have 1 hour, she said. Withdraw the case. I swallowed and forced my voice steady. No. Mama Kunle blinked, shocked. I said, do your worst. She stared at me like she didn't believe I could say that. Then she smiled slowly. Okay, she said, since you want war, you will get war. She turned to leave, then stopped at the door. She dropped one last line, like a knife. By the way, the person sending you those messages is not me. My heart jumped. What? Mama Conley looked back with a calm face. It's someone close to you, she said. Someone in your office. Then she walked away. I stood there, frozen, because if she was telling the truth, that means my workplace is not safe, and the blackmail is bigger than Conley and his mother. Tell me, if you were me, who would you suspect first? A co-worker or my husband? My phone buzzed again. This time, the message came from a saved contact, not unknown. It was my boss. Idea, HR wants to see you. Now. My stomach dropped. I stared at the message like it could change. Ifeoma held my hand. Ada, go, tell them first. Don't let the story reach them from another mouth. My lips were dry. What if they fire me? Ifeoma said, better they hear the truth from you than lies from blackmail. I nodded slowly. At the office, I walked like my legs were not mine. HR office, cold air, serious faces. My boss sat there with the HR woman. They did not smile. HR woman spoke first. Ada, sit down. I sat. She slid a printed paper across the table. My heart pounded. It was a screenshot, my WhatsApp profile picture, my name, and under it bold words. This lady is a scammer. She runs loans and runs away. She sleeps around too. My chest burned. I whispered, this is a lie. My boss looked at me. Ada, what is going on? I took a deep breath and decided, no more hiding. I spoke in simple words. Ma, sir, my husband and his mother used my BVN to take loans. I reported it as fraud. Now they are trying to scare me to withdraw the case. They are sending blackmail messages. This screenshot is part of it. HR woman asked, do you have evidence? I nodded fast. Yes. I opened my phone and showed them everything. The bank alerts, the fraud unit calls, the threatening messages, even Mama Kunle coming to Ifeoma's place. HR woman's face became serious. My boss leaned forward. Ada, why didn't you tell me earlier? Tears entered my eyes, but I held them. Because I was ashamed, I said. HR woman said, Ada, we will not fire you because of lies online, but this is serious. But we need to protect the company too. My heart squeezed. I understand. HR woman continued. We will send this to our legal team, but you must do one thing. What? I asked. She said, if anyone contacts staff again, you must report immediately. And if police calls, we will cooperate. I nodded fast. Relief entered my chest like small air. Then my boss said something I did not expect. Ada, I'm sorry. This is not your fault. My eyes got wet, not because I wanted pity, but because for once someone believed me. Then HR woman said, do you know who posted it? I shook my head. No, but my mother-in-law said it might be someone in the office. My boss frowned. Someone in the office. HR woman typed quickly. We will investigate. If it's a staff member, there will be consequences. I left HR office feeling lighter, but only a little. Am I because the enemy was still out there? That evening, my phone buzzed again. Unknown number, a voice note. I pressed play. A woman's voice spoke, soft and wicked. Ida, I told you, you won't win. My heart froze. The voice was not Mama Kunle. It was not Ifeoma. I knew it. I knew that voice from somewhere, from my office, from the hallway, from small greetings. My skin went cold. I replayed it again. Yes, I knew her. It was Titi, my co-worker, the one who always smiled and said, Ada. You're glowing. The one who asked me, how is your husband doing? I stood up fast, shaking. Why would Titi do this? Then one memory came back. 3 months ago, Titi told me she wanted to marry a calm Lagos man. She even asked, can you introduce me to Kunle's friends? And I said no, because I was busy, because I didn't care, because I didn't know. Now everything started connecting like a rope. Ifeoma called me. Ada, how did it go? I whispered. I know who is behind it. Who? She asked. I said one name. Titi. Ifeoma went silent. Then she said, Ada, be careful. If she is involved, it means she has been close to you. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a message from Kunle. Ada, please. I swear Mama didn't do it. I just found out something. Call me. My heart beat hard. Found out what? Was Kunle finally ready to tell the truth? Or was this another trap? Tell me, if your husband suddenly said, I found out something, would you call him or block him? Because as I stared at his message, another one came in from Titi. Just 3 words. I'm coming tomorrow. Comment part 5 for more.